Yo, what up YouTube? I want to talk to you guys today about food combining. So lately, I've been browsing through Instagram and I've seen a lot of pictures of some vegan meals and for instance, maybe like chopped up bananas with some peanut butter and some honey and I don't know, maybe some nuts or seeds in it too. And that is a bad marriage. That's going to lead to indigestion and putrefaction, and then you're going to have parasites coming to clean it up. You're going to have a slew of garbage men to take out the garbage because you couldn't digest it. So, I mean, that's a huge reason for proper food combination. Depending on what we put in our body, it takes either more acidic or more alkaline digestive juices. Proteins, aka amino acids, are going to be more acidic in their digestive fluid, whereas starches, fats, fruits, green leafy vegetables, other vegetables, melons, are going to be more alkaline in their digestive fluid. So this is a food combining chart from Dr. Robert Morse, just using it as a guide to talk to you. So let's go over it. Let's start with some fruit. So over here we've got sweet fruit, we've got bananas, we've got dates. So optimally, mono meals will work best. For instance, if you're having a conversation with somebody, it's easier to absorb, digest, and utilize that information if it's a one-on-one conversation rather than being in the midst of a crowd and having a whole crowd of people talk to you. So optimally, you want to stick with one fruit at one meal. Next, I would say combining within the same group itself. So maybe dates and bananas or dates and persimmons. That'll still work well. The body will still be able to digest and move that food at a fairly similar rate. And when I mean similar rate, I mean rate of travel through the digestive tract. And next, we would have sweet fruits being combined with subacid fruits. So these aren't optimal, but they will work okay. For example, you might have apples over here, and then we've got bananas. If you are to combine two different groups, I would eat the higher liquid content fruit first because it's going to have a quicker transit time through the digestive system, small intestine, large intestine. So if you were to do that combination, I would advise apples before bananas or maybe grapes before dates, etc., etc. And so it's okay to combine sweet fruits and subacid fruits. It's not optimal, but it will work. What you don't want to do is combine sweet fruits with acid fruits. That's a huge no-no. But let's go from there. So we've got subacid fruits. Once again, they're going to be most optimal combined in a mono meal, or not combined, but eaten mono. But it would be okay to combine subacid with acid fruits. Once again, if you were to combine, say, pineapple and grapes, you'd want to eat your higher liquid content fruit first. I'm not really a big fan of combining acid with subacid, although people do it and say that it works okay. But you don't want to combine acid fruits with sweet fruits. Why? Well, look at the difference between a banana and, say, an orange. An orange is going to be much more acidic in nature. It's going to be a higher liquid content fruit, and it's just a bad marriage. It's not going to mix. They don't even have a similar transit time or the amount of time that it sits in the stomach. They're just too far apart. They just don't work. They're not complementary. Sweet fruits and subacid, or subacid and acid fruits, don't jump. All right, so next we have leafy greens and vegetables. So the vegetable will combine okay with protein. So you could do protein and vegetables but you don't want to do starches and proteins. Why proteins, aka amino acids, they're not actual proteins, will be much more acidic in their nature, in their digestive process, whereas starches are going to be on the polar opposite. It's Mr. Mr. Yin and Yang over here. So yeah, starches are going to be much more alkaline in nature. So you could do maybe starches and leafy greens, or protein and leafy greens, but you don't want to do protein, starches, and leafy greens, because that's going to lead to indigestion, bloating, gas, parasites, impacted fecal matter, what have you. Just a slew of issues that will manifest in different ways. Vegetables will do okay with, like broccoli, and some type of a protein would be okay. Starches with vegetables, okay. So yeah, you guys kind of got the gist of it there. Let's see, melons do not combine well with anything, not even other melons. Melons are so specific in their fluid content and their digestive rate that you want to stick completely mono when it comes to melons. And typically, the way I arrange my food is the higher liquid content food earlier in the day. So what I mean by that is, I might start my day, I mean, this isn't literally how I start my day, but this might be a way that you could do it. A melon for breakfast, maybe bananas and apples for lunch, and then maybe for dinner you've got some leafy greens with some other green vegetables, and then maybe a cooked sweet potato on the side. And then on another note, I don't even really mess with proteins in general, like nuts, seeds, legumes, too much. I'll mess with some grains, or not some grains, but some legumes. I don't even, occasionally, but they're really just a little bit more difficult than, say, like vegetables as far as being processed through the body. What's another one to look out for and be aware of are tomatoes. They're a non-sweet acid fruit, so they might combine okay with, say, like something that's more acidic in nature, like proteins. They'll also combine well with vegetables that are more neutral. They'll combine well with leafy greens, so those will be good combinations. Tomatoes and starches, not as good of a combination, because one's going to be more acidic, one's going to be more alkaline in nature. So, for example, oh yeah, and even going back to the meal combination. So yeah, you got bananas, apples for lunch, and then dinner you might have a combo salad. For instance, a combo salad that I've liked lately are tender leafy greens. The reason why I say tender leafy greens is because kale has so much cellulose that it's basically indigestible by the body. Your body can't break down that cellulose to get into the nutrients like it can with tender leafy greens. So, tender leafy greens, boom, sprouts, going to be in the protein, like a Roma tomato and a bell pepper. Bell pepper is going to be down in this category. And then maybe some lemon juice and a little Bragg's, because Bragg's is going to be protein, a source of protein from a non-GMO soybean. I don't necessarily really advocate soy, but it gives it a little bit more flavor. So I enjoy a little bit. So yeah, that could be a good combination, because boom, 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 they mix well, they're complementary. Or you could do a leafy green salad with maybe some steamed carrots, or a yam, some squash. All those would be complementary. So yeah, touched on the Roma. Avocado you don't want to really mix with high protein foods. Avocados only really mix well with leafy greens, although they're very, very difficult for me to eliminate. And what I mean by that is if I was to eat avocado, my BM might be really sludgy and slow and just really unpleasant. So I personally don't even like avocados for that matter, although I do like the taste per se, just not the way I feel from them. And then what are some examples of, say, sweet fruits? Bananas, dates, figs, raisins, prunes, persimmons, dried fruit. Starches might be potatoes, pumpkins, yams, squash, corn, carrots, beets, artichokes, parsnips. Protein might be nuts, seeds, beans, peas, peanuts, although I would not mess with peanuts. They're actually a bean. Thank you, Gregor Mendel. Yeah, so let's see, what else have we got? Talked about transit time. Fruits are going to have a quicker transit time, and then you've got starches. Steamed or baked starches seem to have a pretty quick transit time for me. Melons having the quickest transit time. Vegetables, leafy greens as well. I also like to combine, or I like the leafy green salad before my vegetable or starch, just because it helps create a broom to sweep and remove excess waste out of the digestive system. Proteins will have the slowest transit time. All right, so like a typical day for me lately, let's talk about yesterday. I woke up, I think the first thing I drank was maybe water, followed by like a young Thai coconut. I had a couple of them. For lunch, I think I had maybe 10, 11 bananas or so. And then for dinner, I had two smaller, like personal seeded watermelons. The few days before that, I didn't have melons for dinner, but I had a combo salad. Typically, I like the Roma, the bell pepper, the greens with maybe either some sprouts or something else in there that's also going to be complementary.